Hey guys, before I get into the main part of the video, I'm just going to say very quickly, I'm very sorry for not uploading for 4 months. For any of those who care, I've been grappling with some personal issues that made it so that creating content wasn't exactly the best idea for my mental health, but either way, I have a lot of projects lined up for this channel and my new Twitch channel that I stream at on Sunday, and I'm very excited to be making videos once more. So with that out of the way, let me introduce you all to what I think Omori is one of the finest games I've played in a while. Welcome to A Taste of Omori. It's no surprise that I'll just say a quite passionate fan of RPGs, from the brief Final Fantasy VII playthrough I did on my channel, to me screaming about Pokemon a few months ago and about this waste of space for about 5 minutes. That is to say, I'm no stranger to the RPG format, so on first glance, Omori looked rather basic to me, if I'm being honest. Omori is an RPG game about a practically emotionless boy that goes on colorful adventures with his friends as they strive to find their missing soft boyfriend, Basil. My initial thoughts were that it had a cute art style, some cute characters that I found rather endearing, but at other times a little bit annoying, a bizarre world with space pirates and angry teddy bear monsters, and a creative, emotional rock-paper-scissors combat system that I frankly adore. However, it didn't look like it was going to be anything different from something like Undertale. I mean, in Undertale, there are plenty of weird and endearing characters as well, and there's also a unique combat system, so why were there all these reviews praising Omori as a brand new masterpiece? Let me just say, I have never been more wrong in my entire life, and I am now more than willing to die on the hill that Omori is one of the greatest RPGs to come out in recent times, and I can convince you of this with one event titled The Final Duet. However, I will put a heavy spoiler and a trigger warning here for people sensitive to intense depictions of depression, anxiety, or suicide. This game does not pull punches, and if you're still here, I hope you're all ready for an adventure into the psyche and the darkest parts of ourselves. A good place to start describing the excellence of this game would be through the symbolism that's hidden in plain sight. First of all, the title of the game, Omori, itself is a shortened version of the Japanese word hikikomori, which I'm very sorry if I mispronounced during this video, by the way. Hikikomori can be translated to have multiple different meanings, including a weight/burden or some sort of guardian. However, the general accepted meaning of this word is a person who avoids social contact. Another clue to this game's dark plot is the appearance of a black light bulb both in the title and in the game's first space, the white space. Most people are quite familiar with the symbolism of white light bulbs in movies or TV shows. When they pop up next to someone's head, they're having some sort of idea that comes to their minds that helps them solve a situation. However, a black light bulb can represent the exact opposite of this. It symbolizes repressing an idea. These immediate hints, plus the appearance of a mostly emotionless, knife-wielding, black and white boy, points directly towards this story's dark undertones. Even so, Omori fools us into a false sense of security by presenting players with the immediate delight of a dream world paradise. Your first experiences in this game are with your colorful cast of best friends playing hide and seek, looking through wholesome and meaningful photos of your adventures, and having general crazy fun with this world's characters. You cannot tell me that getting together all of you and your friends' skills, weapons, and team moves in order to defeat a giant, buffed-up dwarf planet does not sound like the exact crazy enjoyment we need in the world right now. Everything about this world is fantastic. Except for this asshole. This guy's on my hate list. Just as this crazy blast of adventure gets you feeling elated, you're immediately transported back to the white space, where you can't do anything. You can't run, you can't interact with anyone or anything, none of the items in this space will help you. You soon find out that the only thing that you can do now is press stab, and you stab yourself in the stomach. Following this horrifying act, you're jolted awake in the real world, where you're in a dark, messy house. When this first happened, I was shocked. Shit, I was appalled. Where did all the bright colors go? Why am I in color now? Why am I suddenly afraid of stairs? Where did all of my friends go? I searched around the house expecting another person there, but all I was met with were anxiety-caused demons and boxes everywhere. I have a family, right? Where was Mari, or my parents? I saw my sister in the dream world, right? She was always present in the other world, so why not here? What happened? The genius part about the contrast between that bright and bubbly dream world and the real world's dullness and tension is that it firmly places us in the shoes of what it's like to be the main character, Sunny. You see, the real world section takes place when Sunny is moving soon, and he hasn't been able to leave his house in years. He can barely keep his food down, and every part of his house, except his bed, fills him with apprehension and dread. Most of his days consist of him in his bed while he briefly gets up for necessities such as food or the bathroom, which scares him. In many ways, he has no life other than the fantastical one he dreams about every night to keep him company. He's living a terribly relatable existence where the real world only serves to cause him pain, so his only respite is to dream that him and his friends live in this goofy world. And his friends are going through a similarly rough time. I won't go into too much detail, but Kel throws himself into his activities. Aubrey has a massive personality shift from feeling that her friends abandoned her after a tragedy. Basil is, I'll just say, generally unwell, and Hiro locks himself away before finally moving forward with his life in college. I mention the aftermath of all of his friends because they feed directly into Sunny's guilt. This whole time, Sunny has been afraid of them, and the realities of their condition since they all drifted apart. There's this ever-present guilt with Sunny that appears in both the real and dream world, and this guilt directly ties to the cause of their anguish. Your sister, Mari, and how she died. I'll tell you how it happened in a minute, but be warned, it's very heavy. Throughout the real-world section of this game, it's assumed that on the day of a big duet recital between Mari and Sunny, Mari ended up taking her own life. Working with this assumption, one can assume that Sunny is running away from his grief, and partially he is. However, the truth of his guilt is a hard pill to swallow. In the final stretch of the game, you go through what is easily the most horrifying section of it. Sunny travels through his subconscious, and in a powerful act, he smashes the black light bulb of repression to confront his trauma. Suddenly, you're Omori once more, and it's your job to collect photos piecing together the events that have been thoroughly tucked away. During this section, the game is determined to depict Omori as an absolute monster. And a couple of horrifying acts, the dream world version of Basil bursts open like a balloon and you step in his remains. And finally, in one room, you're forced to kill the dream world version of Sunny's cat, and you have to choose yes to killing it, because no matter how badly you try to avoid it, it forces you to kill the cat. All of these monstrous behaviors result in the revelation of something horrible. On the day of Sunny and Mari's recital, things ended up getting heated. As all siblings do from time to time, Mari and Sunny get into a fight, which results in Sunny's anger and him accidentally pushing Mari down a flight of stairs, ending her life on impact. Sunny, horrified by his actions, cannot completely comprehend that the sister that he loves so much is no longer with him, and he puts her lifeless body in her bed, feeling like scum of the earth. Basil, Sunny's real-world best friend, comes just as this event is happening and forms a plan to frame her death as a suicide so that Sunny doesn't get in trouble. Basil takes a jump rope by the tree outside and makes it into a noose, where he proceeds to hang Mari's body from the tree, making the situation all too real for both of them. They go inside, and as they turn back to look at the corpse, they notice that she has one single eye open and it's staring at both of them, haunting them in the form of something in the years to come. These harrowing revelations cause Omori to take his place on a demented throne, taking his role as Sunny's immense guilt-given form, ready to kill him. It makes perfect sense why Sunny isolated himself from his friends and built a dream world where none of these horrible events ever happened, where the magic is still alive, where Mari is still alive. The events that transpired in that household will be enough to break most people and cause them to be a shell of their former selves. However, Sunny remembers a lesson that bears repeating to everyone. Just because you've done something bad does not mean that you are a bad person. In a later section of the game, Sunny is tasked with traveling down a literal memory lane where Sunny is reminded of the real magic in his life. His memory with his friends, his family, and especially Mari. He remembers birthday parties, he remembers days at the beach, he remembers having fun in the rain and hanging out in a treehouse with his friends. He remembers them laughing together. He remembers the violin that they all pitched in to buy him. And he remembers his sister's warm smile. Through these memories, he gains access to the perfect weapon against his shame. The realization that his sister wouldn't want him to live like this. That the memories he made with her keep her alive in his heart, and she'll always be there for him in spirit. He doesn't have to feel this guilt anymore. At the end of Memory Lane, he obtains the violin he was supposed to play with Mari before she passed away, and in a powerful act, he confronts Omori with it in their final battle. This is the toughest battle in the game, and for good reason. It's often said that the hardest thing that we can do in life is fight against the demons in our head, and this one is out for blood. Omori literally and figuratively shreds us apart. He's the embodiment of the demons that make people feel like they're not worth anything. The demons that remind us of everything terrible that we've done. The demons that want us to feel dreadful that we wake up each morning. He throws Sunny's guilt in his face and tells him that he deserves to die for what he's done. He killed Mari, the person that his friends loved, that he loved. He tells Sunny that he's a monster. While Omori is throwing everything he can at you, he will not succumb. He will not back down, and he will never die. No matter how hard you try, you will eventually be defeated by Omori. Given the situation, it seems as if all is hopeless, until the player is presented with one final choice that drastically affects the outcome of the ending. You could choose to let Omori win, and Sunny will toss himself off of a building. Or you can choose to fight in a different way. It's our natural reaction to fight our demons with everything that we have, but in a last act of desperation, Sunny chooses to forgive Omori instead. Omori was his catalyst of repression for all these years, and now he hugs him. Sunny realizes that it truly isn't his fault that he freaked out whenever he was a child. He was barely able to comprehend what happened to his sister. The only way he can save himself is through the love and the forgiveness of both himself and others. And in a final, beautiful act of remembrance, Sunny completes one more thing in his dream world before he's able to move on with his life. This is the final duet in Omori.